Welcome to the Blue Line on WHVL. Mike Tressa and Andrew Callista here. And for Penn State, the Michigan Wolverines were on the schedule last weekend, and Penn State seemed to go into the weekend with some added confidence.
Yeah, and that was because just 2 weeks before they upset Michigan here at Pagula, even a tough place to play, they had to be pretty confident heading into that one.
Last time the Lions got off to a great start with 3 first-period goals. This time around, though, the game got off to a different kind of start.
Out to Yost we go, one of the best buildings in college hockey, maybe all of hockey. Early in the first, Eric Scheid looking to clear with a bad pass behind his own neck. Derek DeBlois finds it to Cristobal Nieves. Scoff, no chance. 1-zip Wolverines early. 1 minute later, Michigan on the attack. Great movement, and Phil Giuseppe off the post, but bangs home the rebound. 2-zip Michigan just under 7 minutes in. Godowski, he is not pleased. Penn State looking to respond off the dump in. Taylor Holstrom flips it in front, and David Goodwin crashing hard, puts it home, makes it 2-1, still just 7 minutes in. Check out the effort by Goodwin, amazing as he takes a tumble. Closing minutes of the first, Michigan on the breakout. Andrew Kopp with a great behind-the-back pass to Tyler Mott, beating Scoff 3-1, maize and blue. Scoff trying to stop the bleeding. Check out his athleticism right here as he goes up and grabs the puck in traffic. Penn State trying to stay alive. Penalties help with that. You see the slash right there. Ensuing power play. Great spacing, and Casey Bailey delivers with the blast, his 6th of the year. 3-2. Chipping away. Third period now. Michigan on the power play. Dylan Richard says, I got your power play right here. As he gets it on the breakaway and he lights the lamp. Big Ten leading 5th shorty of the year for Penn State. All square at 3. Yost, dead silent. JT Comfer, though, tries to bring down the house, but Scoff stones him on the doorstep. Under 3 minutes left. Penn State turnover, and Alex Guptill makes them pay. Great shot, low glove side, beats Scoff. 4-3 Wolverines. Final seconds, extra attacker on for Penn State. Scheid, no. Loose puck. Mike Williamson holds it in at the point, over to Bailey. Forehand, backhand, forehand through a screen, and yes, it's in. Take another look. Nagelvort never sees it. Into OT we go, and it's a Michigan turnover. 2-on-1. Goodwin and Sarr, their best of friends off the ice. Holds, fires, scores. Game winner. Take another look. Top shelf. Off the water bottle. Nothing's better than that, and it's a first road win in the Big Ten for the Lions.
So Penn State, with all the momentum heading into Saturday's game, Penn State looking to get the season series win at Yost, and the intensity just not there for the Lions from the start. First period, Zach Hyman beats David Thompson up the boards, finds Taylor Mott with a great pass. First goal of the game, 1-0 lead for the Wolverines. Second period, same score. Penn State D not able to clear, but Matt Scoff doing his part. Great glove save stopping Mott. Then Michigan with some great passing. Phil DiGiuseppe to Andrew Sinelli, but Scoff diving on it in front. 20 saves in the period, but couldn't get this one. Wolverines working, and the Penn State D again can't get a stop. That leads to an Alex Kyle goal right in front. 2-0 game, Wolverines leading. More from Kyle later. Still in the second, though, Penn State too many chances giving up. Zach Hyman coming around eventually finds Phil DiGiuseppe for the power play score, and 3-0 lead. Wolverines outshot the Lions by 19. Third period now, more attempts, and Alex Kyle in the right place again for his second goal of the game. 4-0 lead sends Matt Scoff out of the game. PJ Musico in. Penn State finds some life after that. A beautiful give and go. Curtis Loic to Tommy Olczyk. Back to Loic, and he scores right in front. 4th of the year. Taylor Holstrom would add a tip in as well with 2 minutes to play, but it was too little too late as Michigan gets an empty netter. They win 5-2 to salvage a split.
Looking at the series numbers, and very even, much like the series at Pagula, Michigan 9 goals to Penn State 7. Would like to see some better numbers for Penn State on the power play, just 1 for 7. Lions with 2 more penalties than the very physical Wolverines, while the teams were 50-50 at the dots. Really indicative of how close these two really are on the ice.
So overall, a great weekend for a developing program, and the Lions earning a split with the number 10 team in the country. Big things for the growth of the program.
Yeah, Coach Guy Godowski talked about it, that he loved the fight that his team showed, not only in Game 1 down 2-0, but also in Game 2, and that's the topic in this week's Sounding Off, presented by Ace Hardware of State College.
Well, I thought it was a very gutsy performance. Like, we talk quite a bit about mental toughness. I thought what the guys showed Friday night was phenomenal. I mean, to come back twice from down 2-0 and then to tie it up in the fashion they did and to end it, I just thought was fantastic. It was it's an extremely tough place to play, and an even tougher place to come back from. And I thought they were tremendous. So I'm extremely happy with the weekend.
Time to focus on the good, and freshman David Goodwin really showing off as the player of the week. Number 9 got the scoring started for the Lions in Game 1, then finished things with his OT winner, good enough to make top plays on SportsCenter, came in at number 8. Goodwin then picked up an assist in the loss to move him into second on the team with 15 points this year. Goodwin with the goods, but to continue with the rest of the goods from this weekend, it's got to stay on the offensive side.
Yeah, Penn State showed what they could do with the puck when the style meets theirs. They were physical in the neutral zone. They forechecked extremely well, allowing them to have a lot of puck possession in Game 1. They not only outshot Michigan, but they had grade A chances on the way to coming back from 2 goals down twice in Game 1, and they did it 4 different ways. On the power play, shorthanded, using the extra attacker to perfection, and then closing it out on an odd man rush. You really have to like that they were finally able to put all those elements together. And even in Game 2, they still brought it, scoring 2 goals in the 3rd period when they went into that period down 4-0.
And it was really good to see the Lions get a road win there, just 2nd of the season, but there was some bad from the weekend too. What didn't you like from the Lions play this past weekend?
Mike, we talked about it and we agreed it was their response in Game 2. You have all that momentum, you want to see it carry over. All year Penn State's been typically better in the 2nd game of the series, but they didn't show it Saturday until it was way too late. I mentioned in the 3rd period, trailing only 1-0 in period 2 though. They were outshot 22-6 due to some loose play on the back end. That led to a 4-0 hole they couldn't come back from. Even when the sticks came alive, it's too bad. A better effort early could have actually ended up in a sweep for the Lions.
And the potential for another good weekend is coming up. This time, the Lions facing the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We'll preview that series when the Blue Line returns.
Even though you didn't see the wins against Boston College and Minnesota, those are the 2 best teams in the country, and they felt really good about how they played and where they've improved. And so it's not like just all of a sudden we woke up and things fell into place.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. Penn State getting ready to face the number 2 team in the country, and let's get real, it's commonplace pretty much for the Lions. So far this season, they've played the current number 1, number 2, number 3 teams, also the number 6 and the number 7 teams. A loaded schedule the whole way through, but at least this time with Minnesota, they have the luxury of already have played them pretty close at home.
Yeah, the schedule's been brutal. Luckily for Penn State, a lot of the games have been at home. You know, the first time around here at Pagula, Minnesota kind of packed it in on defense and allowed the Lions to get a barrage of shots on the goaltender. We'll see if those same game plans are in effect this week out at Mariucci.
And how the teams stack up on the J-Magai Mitsubishi matchup board. Minnesota leads the conference in wins. They lead the conference in goals scored. They're only allowing 2 goals per game. Strong on both the power play and the penalty kill. Really great numbers. Best face-off team in the conference. So on paper, things look pretty one-sided.
Yeah, going by those numbers, why should Penn State even show up out there? But as we saw back on January 12th, numbers mean nothing when the puck drops. Amazing game by McAdam in the first time around to keep the Lions in it, and David Glenn almost brought down the house when he tied it in the 3rd. Gophers were just too much down the stretch, and the Lions seemed a little drained in Game 2. And Coach Guy Gadowski understands the challenge that his Lions are up against this weekend.
Another incredibly tough place to play against an incredible team. We're talking about the very best of the best, and I think for us to be successful, I mean, things aren't going to always go our way over the whole weekend. We know that, but we have to really stay focused on our game, just like we did at Michigan. So I thought that was a big step for us.
So as Penn State gets ready for Minnesota, we already mentioned that the Penn State Nittany Lions played them pretty close at home, really had some chances late in that game. So what does Penn State need to do on the road to really replicate those chances and put themselves in a position to win?
Yeah, definitely that is a benefit. Plus, it's in the mindset of the team going into this series with no fear. Minnesota may have all the numbers on their side, most wins in the conference, most goals, allowing under 2 goals per game, winning the most faceoffs. But Penn State knows they were right there at home, and that's all that matters. If they do the things like Guy Gadowski says, and they play like they played in Game 1 out at Michigan in Yost, by focusing on their game and their game only, correcting their mistakes, Penn State should be right in this one.
And for that, they'll need to execute in all 3 periods, not have those hiccups like so many times so far this season. You're right. They need to maintain the mindset that they belong in this conference, and Coach Gadowski knows that.
The most important thing is we stayed with our belief regardless of the score and kept playing our game, which was I thought showed a lot of mental toughness and obviously revealed, I guess, or showed probably the most character that we've had this year. I think that we have to stay within our game.
staying within his game is exactly what Casey Bailey is back to doing. The sophomore forward lit the lamp twice in the win out at Michigan, and Arlie Smirkowski caught up with him in this week's Player Profile.
We're here with sophomore forward Casey Bailey. And Casey, you guys had a chance to beat Michigan here at Pagula, got a chance to go out again and beat them in their home ice. What was that like for you guys?
I mean, yeah, getting those two first, home win, then back-to-back, then get a road win like that, it's definitely big for the program, and I think it's big for us building and moving forward, and it definitely felt good.
Casey, you've been real hot lately. You had 2 goals in the first game against Michigan. What's been the key to your success?
I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the line mates I'm playing with, getting a chance to play with Eric Scheid and Ricky. I think we're playing really well together. I think a couple of those goals I had in that Michigan game were a little bit of luck, maybe hockey gods, but it's definitely nice to get a couple in.
You had a pretty unique experience. You got to go to the Bruins camp this summer. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge for confidence and getting that experience, kind of seeing what it's like at the next level, and I think it added a lot to my confidence for sure.
And this is the last road trip before the conference. What's it like for you guys, and what are you guys looking forward to going and playing at Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, they're number 1 in our division right now, and I think it's going to be a real big test for us to play in that arena. It's a big ice surface, and I think they play really well at home, so it's definitely going to be a great test for us.
Thanks very much, Casey. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Elise. When we come back, we chat with Rob Andringa of the Big Ten Network and find out what the former national champion thinks about Penn State hockey so far this season. Don't go anywhere. The Blue Line will be right back.
Goodwin and Saar closing. Goodwin fires. He scores! David Goodwin wins it in overtime.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. Joining us over the phone right now is Big Ten Network color analyst Rob Andringa. Rob, thanks for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Rob, you've seen Penn State play a few times this year. What's your impression of how the Lions have grown from the start of the year to where they are at right now?
What I see that the biggest impact from start to finish has been, I think, their understanding of how difficult it is to win in this league. Having only 2 wins, I think they probably anticipated it was going to be tough to play the likes of Michigan and Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Minnesota. But yet, until you actually get on the ice and you see that these actually mean points. I know last year they beat, Wisconsin, they beat Michigan State, beat Ohio State, and yet it was a nice win. But it really didn't mean anything per se. It didn't count for points, and I don't think those teams that lost really considered it to be that big of a deal. Well, now these points matter, and so teams bring a different mentality to the rink every night. I just think the growth mentally about what it takes to compete every night in this league at the Division I level is the biggest improvement I've seen, and then it's just a matter of the talent getting richer and better as Guy Godowski recruits.
Rob, Penn State finally got that first win at Michigan. They went to OT against Michigan State and then came to Yost and got another win. Can they keep the ball rolling against the Gophers this weekend?
You'd like to think so. If there's no doubt an opportunity. Anytime your goalie, Scoff, who when this team plays well, it's because he's usually the kingpin to start with. But Mariucci's a difficult place to play. Minnesota, very challenging team in that they like to stretch the ice north and south. They're going to put pressure on moving the puck up quickly. That'll force Penn State to try to develop some type of defensive scheme on a bigger ice sheet than they normally play at Pagula Ice Arena, where Mariucci's more Olympic size and Pagula's more NHL size. So, there's some challenging aspects to that. I definitely think winning, though, at Michigan has to give Penn State a lot of confidence to know that, hey, might as well. Why not us? Taking a line from Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl win, why not us? And so, definitely confidence is a big help to Penn State. And if Matthew Scoff plays well and he gives them opportunities to stay in the game, all it takes is for 1 or 2 good bounces, and next thing you know, you just won at Mariucci.
Rob, they've had their ups and downs all season. They've played Boston College really close. They played Minnesota here at Pagula really close. What are they missing right now, or is this just a very, very young team?
They're not as skilled from top to bottom on their forward lines. They have a couple guys, namely David Goodwin, a freshman that I like. Also Eric Scheid, the transfer, has come in nicely and filled a nice void at being their top line center. Guys that performed last year, David Glenn, Casey Bailey, very good players, but have not been able to find a groove this year. That definitely has hurt them. But their talent level needs to always improve and get better, and I think that will over the course of time. If there's really a lack or an area that they really need is probably offense on the blue line. Nate Jensen is one of the better blue liners I see in the Big Ten. I know Yuha is also having a solid campaign, and that helps. But that back end is where you can gain a lot of traction and offensively, and I think that's probably the biggest adjustment that Penn State needs to continue to develop is ways to find blue liners to get points and get them involved in the offense.
Rob, you won a national championship while playing at Wisconsin. Are you excited for this conference developing, and what are your thoughts about covering the first conference tournament in a few weeks?
I just thought this was an opportunity for college hockey to take another jump in the people's mind. Years and years ago, when I played for the Badgers in the old WCHA, we had a schedule that interlocked with Hockey East. And the traditionalists of the WCHA thought it was a bad idea because now we're going to bring Maine and Boston University, and we're going to have to go play Northeastern, go play Lowell, New Hampshire. You kind of fast forward it. I think one of the reasons why the NCAA tournament, the Frozen Four, has become such a big deal was because of little steps like this. Fast forward, we have the Big Ten Conference. Definitely has exceeded my expectations, as well as I know fans across the Big Ten landscape. You go to every rink, and there's a different vibe in the building when you see Michigan walk in. You see Michigan State, and now you see Penn State. There's just a different feel, and a lot of it is attributed to the great rivalries that have been presented in basketball and football and volleyball and soccer. But I think it really puts us on a different level for the national media, which is so needed these days. Games are now on ESPNU, CBS Sports, NBC Sports, besides the Big Ten Network. And, if you want to continue to grow the game and maybe get one or two more teams in the Big Ten, you need this. And so I'm very happy with how it's gone, and I know the fans and especially the players and coaches have loved it.
Rob, you're one of Madison's favorite sports figures. Thanks so much for your time.
Hey, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.
Stay warm up there, Rob.
All right, you guys too.
And we shift gears now to the women's team, who ended the regular season with a pair of losses on the road at 9th-ranked Robert Morris. Amy Peterson and Laura Bowman with the goals in Game 1. The women finished the regular season 27-3. Next up, RIT in the first round of the CHA tournament this weekend. Penn State, the 6th seed in the tournament. It's a best-of-3 series with RIT, who they played 4 times, losing 3 times, and tying once. Penn State's focus is on ending the season strong, and that's exactly what sophomore Jordan Pardowski plans to do. She talked to Elise Markowski in our player profile.
I'm here with sophomore defenseman Jordan Pardowski. And Jordan, season's wrapping up. You're coming into playoff hockey. What are you guys looking forward to most?
Well, we're just very excited to go out there and this weekend kind of have a clear schedule and go out there and just play and have a lot of fun.
You guys had a pretty unique experience playing in a brand new arena first year at Pagula. What's that been like for you?
It's honestly been an unreal year. It's been an unreal experience and just very fortunate to play in such an incredible place.
And you guys have really grown a lot as a team. Even though the record may not show it, you guys have so much more cohesiveness. What do you think that really benefits looking forward in the future of Penn State hockey?
Just establishing a good program, a good base for this program, and all the girls get along so well, and I just think it sets a good example for girls coming in and just overall a good atmosphere.
Thanks very much, Jordan. Back to you guys.
Thanks, ladies. One more block here on the blue line, and we come back, we'll take a look at the Big Ten standings, how things are getting tight at the top. The blue line, we'll be right back.
Very, very famous arena. It will be, I think, a great atmosphere. You're going to have 2 excellent crowds. I know Cornell travels extremely well, and they have a great student body as well. So I think I'm hoping that a lot of our students will be able to see that. I think it would be a real fun atmosphere.
Welcome back to the blue line. That was Guy Godowski talking about the big news from late last week. Penn State will play Cornell at Madison Square Garden over Thanksgiving weekend. Another big-time opponent for the Lions. That game on November 29th, and tickets go on sale on Friday.
Yeah, Cornell, big time in college hockey, the Big Red. And talk about growing your brand. You're playing in the world's most famous arena, MSG. Great atmosphere is going to be there. 3rd time Penn State's played in an NHL rink. Pittsburgh, Philly, now New York City.
That's great. It's really another big-time opportunity to grow a young program. And let's get back to this season and some big plays the Lions made the past weekend.
Yeah, and let's start with the Aaron's amazing save of the week. Matt Scoff, Game 2. Loose puck in front. Tyler Mott robbed. Fancy glove work. Mott in disbelief. Take another look. What a save by Scoff the Hoff. Ozzie Smith would be proud of that glove work right there from Matt Scoff.
And the Cove Pizza Crunch of the Week goes to Zach Starr, just lighting up Alex Guptill right at the center line. Look at it again, as Guptill has no chance. Starr making a lot of big hits, becoming a staple of this program's Hit of the Week segment.
Starr had the hit of the week, but I got to tell you, David Glenn checked this hit out on Michigan captain Mac Bennett.
So getting a double order of the Cove Pizza Crunch of the week this time, and now we'll shift things to the Big Ten, where the standings are tightening up with only 2 series last weekend.
Besides Penn State and Michigan, Michigan State took on Wisconsin, falling 5-2 on Friday, and the Badgers got the shutout Saturday to get the sweep over the Spartans.
That creates the logjam at the top. Minnesota and Wisconsin both have 10 wins. Badgers just 1 point behind, even with the 5 losses. Michigan hurting with the Penn State losses, 8 points behind the Badgers. Ohio State and Michigan State, they're battling for the 4 seed, and Penn State still on the bottom.
This weekend, Penn State has a chance to do some damage at Minnesota. The Wolverines and Buckeyes finish their season series with a home and away. Michigan State facing the U.S. National Development Program in an exhibition, and Wisconsin has the weekend off. To keep the ice in the best possible shape, it takes a workhorse behind the scenes, and that's the focus in this week's Pegula Spotlight as we take a look at the Ice House.
And this is the most important room in the building. Obviously, without this plant, there is no ice.
Controlling the plant is a computer system that knows everything on the sheet.
And basically, what we can do is kind of give an overview. You know, we're seeing the temperature of the ice slab itself, what's in the floor, on top of the floor, on top of the ice, and underneath the subfloor heating system. So there's a lot of great stuff in here that will help us maintain a great sheet.
A great sheet means a great pump system. Glycol solution is taken out to the ice to cool the concrete before returning back into the plant, where it is mixed with ammonia and supercharged to keep the ice in tip-top shape.
Really a simple system. It's pretty basic, but again, we had the latest and greatest technology in here, and again, we're very energy efficient, and this is the most important part of making the best quality ice.
Injuries aplenty on the Nittany Health South Injury Board. Nate Jensen and Luke Uhas out for their 3rd straight series. Max Gardner back out with an ankle injury, and Mike Williamson questionable with a knee injury. That defensive unit is really hurting. It's going to be extra tough against a good scoring team like Minnesota.
Yeah, for me, that's the key to this series. How is the blue line going to hold up in the back end on that bigger ice surface? I mean, that's the key if you want to stay close.
We'll find out Friday at 9, the first game of the series, and they play again Saturday at 7. The Penn State women are in action Friday and Saturday in the tournament, if necessary, on Sunday. That'll do it for the blue line. For Andrew Callista, Mike Tressa, we'll see you next week.